in the absence of any provision for meeting any contingency, section 151 is invoked by the court. The parties must be alert here. So here you make an application under 151. It is very wide powers by the court. This is with a view to prevent any misuse and abuse, or in order to meet the ends of justice, the courts are passing orders in this regard. So when we are in evidence here, there is no reply to the written statement. In the affidavit, you clearly mention that allegations are false. And when the defendant examines his witness and puts questions to you, your client, and you should not only cross-examine that witness, and if you feel proper, you must lead evidence in rebuttal. It is called, you must deny the contention by examining another expert who may have been examined before the court. Okay, this is all the, yes.
Can you please tell one thing? So, sir, this examination in rebuttal or closing evidence with a leave that I may re-examine my witness or rebut the witness of defendant, that is a mandatory right which has to be granted to the judge, or that is a discretionary right?
It is a discretion of the court that you will have to explain why you want to examine him. Because it's a relevant fact, no? It's under, you have to put it under the, it should come within the mischief of between section 5 and 55 of the Evidence Act. Okay? Between 5 and 55 of the Evidence Act, when we discuss Evidence Act, they can carefully gather. You are able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to? Yeah. So that the application has to be made. The court will issue notice to both the parties, whether it should be granted or not. But your case, you should make out here the application which I am making will be touching the issue, new issue which has been raised or earlier issue, or this has become necessary for me to lead evidence in rebuttal because I had no opportunity to lead evidence. I was not because the defendant had not filed a list of witnesses. For example, there are many, the practice in Mumbai and elsewhere in India is that many people don't file list of witnesses. Under Order 16, Rule 1 and 2, you have learned here, the parties must file the list of witnesses within 15 days from the date of the framing of the issues. But if it is not filed, the court has the discretion to allow the witnesses. Normally, the CPC, as I told you, being a procedural law or being an adjective law or a procedural law, it is construed in a liberal manner, not in a rigid manner, for advancing the cause of justice and not to defeat the justice. So the courts are liberal here. So when you open your Order 16, Rule 1 and 2, it tells you, you file the list of witnesses within 15 days from the not later than the framing of the issues. Order 16 खोल लिया था आप, isn't it?
Yes, sir, opened.
Yes, that this is again a very discretionary provision. It is not mandatory. You know, the CPC ke maximum provisions are a discretionary provision. If it is not so, normally the court grants the permission to lead evidence, evidence in rebuttal. Normally grants it. But if the court says that already evidence is there in that regard, in the evidence led by you or in the cross-examination you conducted, you may be prevented from leading evidence. But you should take up the plea that here, if evidence is not allowed to be led, my client will suffer irreparable loss, injury, and prejudice of serious nature which cannot be mitigated. It's a matter of life and death for your client. He may lose the valuable premises, and you may lose the case. Everything will go to him against him. So normally the courts are liberal in granting permission to lead evidence because the court wants substantially all materials before the court. Because Evidence Act says that here, court is not just considering the evidence, considering the entire matter before it, considering the entire matter and material before it here. So normally it is liberally granted here. But this is the point as a young lawyer, or you should remember it here, evidence in rebuttal is a must when the defendant examines his witnesses, if the evidence is going against you in many respects. Because your client may not be expert evidence is required to be led. If you are proving that the signature is fabricated, just your evidence is not sufficient. and the observation of the court under section 73 of the Evidence Act, that is comparison of the signature, is not sufficient. You must examine a handwriting expert when disputed facts are arisen. If you don't examine, it may be fatal to you. Yes, the evidence of a handwriting expert may not be substantive evidence. It is one of the relevant evidence. Just merely telling the court, I have filed proceeding or I am making application under section 340 CRPC, which we learned yesterday. Now, yesterday the Supreme Court has given judgment, see, which on the point I told you. When a document is fabricated and produced in a civil court for securing, produced in civil court as an way of evidence, private complaint is not maintainable for conviction under section 192, 193 of the IPC. Please read judgment of Justice Nariman and Justice Sinha delivered yesterday. I just watched it in the morning, happened to see that here. So I mentioned to you that here, when a document has been introduced, which is according to you bogus, false, fabricated, it is not sufficient that you tell before the court of law that you compare the signature before the court. You take out an application under section 340 CRPC, where the court will hold a preliminary inquiry, and that under the provisions of law, under the CRPC, such a complaint would lie under section 195 CRPC from the civil court to the criminal court. Please note that. Section 195 is the relevant section, which clearly says that no complaint should be lodged against a public servant or in respect of offences of lawful authorities. Section 195, I'll tell you. Got it here?
Yes, sir.
That complaint, see that clearly that no court shall take cognizance. Now come down, of any offense punishable following. Number 1, see 190, 195, 193 to 196. This comes in perjury. Then देखिए आप, then any criminal conspiracy, ऊपर जाइए आप, then again go up, come down. Then see इसके बाद खोलिए आप. Then it says that here of the offenses. Then again go down. ऊपर जाइए इसको. See, tell which court it is. See that here. Where a complaint has been made by a servant so and so, which is the court. You see that here in clause number so and so, revenue, all the revenue code for the purposes. Then ऊपर जाइए, for after 4 के बाद क्या देखिए, it'll tell you which is the code you are recording. और ऊपर जाइए, or further up, take it up.
No, sir, it has only 4 clauses.
Yes, 4 clauses. So the complaint will become the court, civil court. A private complaint will not lie under section 195. So the procedure is prescribed under section 340 CRPC. So under 340 CRPC, when a complaint is filed, an inquiry will be held by the civil court. The civil court has a right to arrest the accused person or ask him to give security before he is being sent to criminal court. The magistrate, normally it is transferred to the chief judicial magistrate. The chief judicial magistrate may try this case as a summary suit, as a summary procedure. Summary procedure is dealt under section 260 CRPC, where the punishment need not be more than 3 months. Okay, that is one procedure given here. So if that is so it is not only that here you have taken resort to section 340 CRPC, but you should also be in such cases lead the evidence of your handwriting expert. Your evidence is not sufficient that the agreement is fabricated, because you are not an expert. You cannot give evidence कि ये signature किसका है. It looks like so and so. Now under the Evidence Act, kindly go through section 73. खोलिए जरा. Evidence Act, section 73. If you see section 73,
So it's there on the screen.
yes, the court has power to. See, Here the court has power to compare the signatures, isn't it? Now this may not be sometimes sufficient. Not CRPC, Evidence Act, Section 70, yes. Comparison of the signature. You got it? Now come to Section 47 of the Evidence Act. 47. So under this provision, opinion of the handwriting expert is relevant. Relevancy is important here. The signature is forged and fabricated. So the defendant examines his expert, you are not examined. Cross-examination of an expert is not an easy job. You require the help and assistance of another expert. So when he files the report is not evidence. Your expert must be asked to step into the box. He must be examined to prove his documents, his report. Then only it becomes evidence under the Evidence Act. So this can be one example I'm giving you in a case of a rebuttal where you are not taken the plea that you are not examining the expert and the other side examines it. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
When you see the
Sir,
evidence,
I have one more question.
Ji, boliye.
Sir, when you are saying that res judicata doesn't apply on a criminal trial or in a criminal proceeding, then sir, suppose...
it applies now. 300 can the doctrine of, I tell you this one, double jeopardy applies. Section 300 CRPC.
Okay. But sir, I have a situation, if you can resolve that. Suppose I was contesting, I wanted an FIR to get registered. Now I filed a private complaint. Judge said that there is no need for this FIR to be registered. There is no offense made. And subsequently, say after 6, 7, 8 months, now again I want FIR to be registered on the same facts, I cannot get it done. Or can I get that done? Or no, I'm barred now from getting FIR registered.
Registration of a FIR is a mandatory when the FIR discloses a kind of cognizable offenses. You know that, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Supreme Court judgment in the Lalita Kumari's case, 5-bench judgment, isn't it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. You all should know the judgment, all youngsters. Huh? Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. When the offense is disclosing cognizable offenses, registration of Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. It's a very landmark judgment of 5-bench judges. When you are reading CRPC, please know this judgment by heart. Huh? Lalita Kumari versus State of UP. It's a landmark judgment. When FIR should be registered, when can be refused, and when arrest can be effected, when cannot be effected. All the guidelines are given in this matter. And all students should go through the judgment. Please note that here.
So, sir, then will I be allowed to register subsequent FIR or no? Once it has been adjudicated by a magistrate court that no offence is made up.
If you have some new facts have come out, some new offences committed, you can register again, but not on the basis of the old FIR itself. But if the magistrate has taken the plea that here there is no offence here, maybe you may be proceeding under the provisions of the 173 subclause 3 of the 154.3, isn't it? It is 157.3 CRPC. Then your remedy is to go.
Yes,
156.3 RPC. The magistrate has power to, if the magistrate is not giving you power order, then go in revision before the magistrate under 390 session code under 397. It's a revisional order revision will lie before the sessions code or under section 401 to the High Court.
Okay, sir.
Please note that though it's an interlocutory order, though no appeal lies, but the order is revisable. A revision will lie to the Court of Sessions under 397 CRPC or to the High Court under section 401. Please note that. These are concurrent powers of the High Court and Session Court. Only when they are rejected completely, then you have a remedy. But if the new facts are come on record after registration of the first one, I'm sure the police officer cannot say no to you following the judgment of Lalita Kumari's case. If the offense is disclosing cognizable offense, under section 41, it is the mandatory duty of the police officer to arrest the accused person, isn't it? Under 154 mandates that FIR must be registered. 156, 157, commencement of the investigation. That procedure laid down here. It is only under 154, under 154.1, if a police officer does not take cognizance of your FIR, then under 154 subclause 3, you have to go before the senior officer. The commissioner, assistant commissioner. 154.1 देखिए आप 154.1, 154.3. Open the entire. So your first instance, you're liable to go before the police officer. If the police officer does not take cognizance under 154.1, then 154.3 say that any person aggrieved by the refusal of the officer in charge, then you have to go before the senior officer, superintendent of police. Kindly note that. This is your first, when the criminal law is set into motion by filing FIR first before the senior inspector of police station, when he refuses after 15 days to go before the superintendent of police. When this man refuses, then you have to go under 191 to the magistrate. Third option. 191 खोलिए CRPC. Yeah. Section 191 खोलिए and subclause 2 and 3 check करें यहाँ पे.
So it has only one clause?
No, section 190, 190. बराबर ही cognizance आया ना इसके अंदर. Number 1, A is upon a complaint of fact. Number 2, upon a police report. Number 3, upon information other than so and so on his own. Then subclause 2 check करें. Yeah. Then number 3 check करें.
So it has only two clauses.
Yes. Yeah. Now here the magistrate passes an order upon a police report. When the police report is gone against you, isn't it? You must make application. Then he will issue an order under section 157.3 to direct investigation. 156.3, sorry, 156 बोलिए आप 156.3. Okay, any magistrate empowered under 191 may order investigation. You got it? So these are the 4 situations where the FIR can be directed. Here under the direction of the magistrate will do. If the magistrate refuses this order, you have to go under section 397 CRPC. 397 खोलिए. This is the revisional powers of the Court of Session. Okay. Under this, you can go to the Court of Session, or simultaneously you can go before the High Court under 401. 401 check कीजिए आप. The High Court has powers of revision. Under the CPC, only one provision, revisional powers are exercised only by the High Court. In CRPC, both Sessions Court and High Court can recover. Now, this particular point that you should go before a police officer, then before a senior officer, before magistrate, you cannot directly file a complaint. That is covered under the judgment of the Supreme Court in the year 2014. That is Priyanka's judgment. Priyanka. प्रियंका वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ यूपी निकालिए आप। प्रियंका श्रीवास्तव वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ यूपी, बराबर है। Now, please, all of you go through the judgment very carefully. Those who are filing private complaint. This laid down the parameters. You cannot directly file a complaint to the magistrate under 190 in cases where cognizable offences are committed. First, go before the police officer. If the police officer rejects your idea, your complaint, then go before the senior most, the superintendent. After superintendent, go before a magistrate. So Priyanka Srivastav is mandated. Here, the law laid down is that here, the third resort is before a magistrate and supported by affidavit. This judgment says that you must file affidavit.
Recorded
please note that. Priyanka Srivastav padhiye aap, and Lalita Kumari's judgment for FIR. Lalita Kumari is a 5-bench judgment. And this is the judgment of Justice Deepak Mishra's judgment. This judgment is very often cited in the court. Please note that. Remember this, okay? Yes. Now we are CPC se CRPC pe aa gaye. Now we'll go back to again CPC. Okay? Now under the provisions of CPC, as I told you, inherent powers can be invoked by all the civil court under the CRPC by the yes. Now, concluding part, when you are concluding the evidence, now let us conclude the evidence today before I take up other topic tomorrow. So you have completed the evidence, both the parties, the court will record that evidence is completed, then dono partiyon ka, plaintiff and defendant, the matter is now closed down for arguments. Now who will begin the argument first? Anybody knows?
Plaintiff.
No, the plaintiff who closes the evidence will begin first. Sanjana? That is a matter of procedure in the courts. The evidence is last led by the plaintiff, defendant. Defendant will begin first. If the plaintiff, if the witness, whoever has examined the last witness will begin first. Yaad rakhiye. This is a matter of procedure which is developed from the various judgment and the court procedures. It is not the order 18 mein check karenge aap. Now who will begin? Who will begin the argument is given here. Plaintiff normally begins to argument unless otherwise the defendant closes here. The person right to begin is given here. Yes. Now once a lawyer will make a legal submission under order 18 rule 1. 2, 3 check kare, 3 mein you have a right to make written argument also. 3 mein check kare yahan pe, 3A check karo. Isn't it?
So same order, different order.
Order 18. Order 18 के अंदर है ना, your CPC is I think junior नया खोलिए था ना, नया CPC के अंदर मैं चेक करता हूँ. If you see order 18, rule 3B check करो. Rule 3A and 3B. Order 18, rule 3A deals with oral arguments. And also written arguments. You found it? This amendment took place in the year 2016. है आपके पास?
No, sir. In the electronic version, it is not there.
It is not there. Please उसको update कर लीजिए आप. And the student, please remember this and keep a new Bail Act. New Bail Act will help you. And those who are not able to understand the Bail Act, you can keep a Jabwala with you, which has given university-wise question papers and explain. And the best book is Takwani Saab, Justice Thakkar, C.K. Thakkar's book, Students Edition. Please keep it. It's a very important book. So that will at least help you. But possessing a Bail Act is a must. and latest BERAC you please purchase, and that is 2020 का BERAC लीजिए. If you buy a professional publication का, the amendment it includes all the amendment of various states including Maharashtra. I am having a professional, and you may also buy a professional one, and please buy a latest one which is amended up to 2020, because CPC is being amended from time to time. See, in your old BERAC, order 18 rule 3A and 3B is not there. There are oral arguments advanced. Then along with the oral arguments, you have a right to tender written arguments with the leave of the court. Written argument hone ke baad, then the court will record them, keep the matter for judgment. Judgment is given under the provisions of order 20. Judgment is pronounced, judgment and decrees, order 20. आज के लिए मैं यहाँ पे स्टॉप करता हूँ ये order 20. Then in between क्या होता है? I do not want to, because judgment के बाद then other thing, order 20 check करें. How the judge record judgment and decree. Now I wish to take up after this trial the various interlocutory order or interim orders passed by the civil court during the pendency of a suit. Okay? The interim orders are passed essentially. The most important order, please note, write down today. We'll summarize it tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Number 1, under order 24 and 25, the court will direct the party, defendant, to deposit the money. Under order 24, deposit. Under order 25, the plaintiff can be directed to, under order 25, the plaintiff can be directed to deposit money by way of cost to the defendant in case the plaintiff apprehends that the suit is totally false, frivolous, and the plaintiff has no property in India and in the place where the suit is filed. He will run away without paying cost. So the provision can be made. 25. Then under order 26, appointment of court commissioners. Okay, this provision should be read along with section 75 onwards, where the court appoints court commissioners for recording evidence and various purposes. Power of the court to issue commission. See, section 75 is check kar lo aap. 75 and 76. Power of the court to issue commission, to examine persons, to make local investigation, to examine adjust account, to make partition, and to hold scientific inquiry. So the commissions are appointed both under order 26, 75, 76. Then also under order 39, rule 7 may be commission appointed. Okay. This I will deal tomorrow comprehensively. These are the commissions appointed. They can be commissioned for record. Many people cannot come to the court. Court will record evidence. And the court will see that I would like to see the premises. Even the court has a right to see the premises. Under order 18, rule 18, check karo aap, the court can make an application to the court in order to better appreciate the property. The court can appreciate and see the property. And many Supreme Court judges, High Court judges visit the property. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, Bombay High Court judges visited Chowpatty beach. Somebody said that the beach is very unclean. There is an ecological disorder and gandigi ho rahi, safai nahi ho rahi. The judges of the Bombay High Court, you will see that here, they came and visited the property. That is a power under order 18, rule 18. Under order 18, rule 18, check karo aap. See the power of the court to inspect. So these are all provisions with regard to interlocutory orders. Then another important order.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Only 9 minutes are left now for the meeting to finish.
Then I'm just summarizing the interlocutory. Then order 39, rule 1 and 2 and 3 deal with important power of granting injunction. Okay, injunction during the pendency of the suit. These are called interlocutory orders or interim orders. You may say that. These are all temporary orders. Whereas the Specific Relief Act, section 38, 39, 40, 41, they deal with all types of injunction, both perpetual and mandatory injunction and temporary. Yes, CPC ke andar only temporary injunction, even mandatory injunction can be granted by way of a temporary injunction. If you take up the plea that your father can file a suit against your son who is troubling him from the premises, saying that this is my premises, my son and daughter-in-law are troubling me, causing cruelty. I do not want to stay with them. The father can make an application that the son and daughter-in-law should be removed from the premises. The court has power to pass a number. Prayer A will be perpetual order of injunction. Prayer B will be temporary order of injunction directing the removal in cases are warranted. There are many cases. I also fought such many cases like this here. Then this is the powers of injunction. Then another important power is attachment before judgment under Order 35. Under Order 35, the court can attach the properties and arrest the defendants. Order 38, check ka kholiye zara. 38. See, attachment before judgment. So even before the full suit is tried, you may take up the plea that defendant will run away to America, London, foreign country to defeat your suit, and he has no security. So property can be attached. He should be arrested. He should be asked to give security. These are very serious orders. The court can pass under during the pendency of the suit. Then Order 40, another interlocutory order, appointment of a court receiver. This is also a drastic power. Before the this order can be passed by the court at any time before or after decree is passed. Very interesting that here. Even for execution of the decree, you can go to the court that the receiver may kindly be appointed. Now, Order 40 ke andar bhi hai provision ye, and you will also see that appointment of receiver can be done by even under the provisions of section 58 hai, yes, under this provision, you may take up the plea that the defendant has alienated the property, sold the property, property is being endangered. For example, your tenant has closed the property and gone to America, okay? And taps wala chhod ke chala gaya. Building damage, property garam pani chal beh raha hai, nobody there. You can file a suit. Tenant has no business to run away, leaving the taps open and the property has been damaged. You can file the suit for eviction and appoint a court receiver to take property and to put you in possession. Isn't it? That is a very drastic power which the court can exercise at this stage here of this stage step. Now there is a appointment of a receiver is also done under section 51 of the CPC. Power to the court to enforce execution. Under section 51, clause D. Clause D, check kare yahan pe. Court can appoint a receiver for execution. You may normally powers for execution are given under Order 21. 21 se leke 110 tak rule hai iske. But this is one example which I would be covering. So these are all interlocutory orders. Some of the orders which are passed are appealable and some of the orders are not appealable, which I will deal tomorrow with these appealable orders, non-appealable orders. When the court passes interim orders, interlocutory orders, and what is the kind of proceeding you are required to adopt, what kind of affidavit you must file, whether you need to amend the plaint or not, whether you should resort to Order 6, Rule 17 or not, which we will deal tomorrow, that is on Monday. Okay? Anybody has any questions, please ask me.
Yes, sir.
Rapidly, please ask. This is a question hour. Though Parliament has suspended question hour, I am keeping the question hours. Start your questioning, please.
Sir, Ashish Arlalkar here.
Boliye.
Sir, for civil matters, you can withdraw a suit, but for criminal matters, a complaint cannot be withdrawn. Why is it framed like that? I mean, why is this there?
Because criminal complaint, crime is the duty of the state to punish and prosecute a person. The state, it is a function of the state. The crime is against it, not only against the individual, against the state.
But sir,
the state takes over the role. The state takes over the role. समझे ना आप?
Yeah.
The state takes over the role, but certain complaints can be withdrawn. That I will deal with you tomorrow when I deal with it here.
Okay, sir.
Every complaint cannot. Certain complaints are compoundable, certain are non-compoundable. That will deal with it. Because when a FIR is lodged, is a state of Maharashtra or Union of India. समझे ना आप? It is not the complainant name आएगा. State of Maharashtra, State of Delhi, Union of India. The union prosecute the offence under by the public prosecutor. Public prosecutor appointed under section 26, 27, 28 CRPC. 27, 24 पढ़ेंगे आप appointment of a public prosecutor. You have no right to appoint a private lawyer. समझे ना आप? Only you can keep a lawyer for watching under the CRPC. You can make an application for appointment of a special public prosecutor. समझे ना? 24, 25 deal with appointment of a public prosecutor. It is a government appointed lawyer. Now say Sushant Singh case, the public prosecutor of Delhi government, CBI. हो गया?
हाँ sir.
खत्म हो गया?
No, sir. No, sir.
CBI is,
Meeting is
yeah,
still
the
going on.
CBI is now taking over the matter. CBI is a public prosecutor. They will appoint their own lawyers. Yeah. Anybody else?
So, but sir, form of plea bargaining and making somebody a witness and reducing their charges or punishment is a form of withdrawal of charges, you think, or no?
Yeah, that is a plea bargaining is permitted in certain offences which are not serious, where the accused person agrees to deposit some compensation in favor of the victim. That is permitted. Now, under the provisions of section 265A onward in CRPC, that will deal with it later on when we complete it. With the power of the magistrate. उसमें magistrate का permission चाहिए plea bargaining के लिए. Okay. There is a separate provision in that regard. Section 265, isn't it? It is. बताता हूँ section 2 exactly. That is yes. Chapter 21A, 265A, section 265A, 265B, 265C guidelines are laid down in that regard. See, plea bargaining के लिए. Formally, it was not there in India. It has come into effect from 2006. America में foreign countries में आई है. In what offences can be plea bargain can take place? We'll discuss later on. और कोई question है पूछिए भैया.
Thank you, sir.
Section 320 के अंदर how you can withdraw the complaint is given. I can tell you that later on. Section 320 check करेंगे आप CRPC. Section 320 check करो आप. Section 320. See, withdrawal from prosecution 321. Compound. Section 320, compounding offences. In what cases the public prosecutor can withdraw himself from the prosecution? 321 is given. But as a complainant, you cannot withdraw. The public prosecutor on your behalf can withdraw certain cases. Okay, with the permission of the magistrate. और कुछ है cases? Order 23, CPC permit the plaintiff. He can withdraw the case anytime he wants.
So meeting will finish anytime because less than a minute.
Okay. See you all. Have a nice day. Good day. Okay. See you on Monday. See you on Kabir. Today, Friday, Monday. Formulate questions, please. I'll be very happy to answer the questions. Okay. Thank you, Kavita madam. Thank you. Thank you, Mansi, for very excellently and skillfully covering the meetings. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mansi. Thank you, Kavita madam. Good day. Good day, all of you. I think meeting over.